over 55 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by the Georgia Farm Bureau in association with Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College.
Alrighty, welcome friends. Thanks so much for tuning into the Farm Monitor. Ray DeLessio flying solo this week while Jennifer Parson enjoys some well-deserved R&R. With that said, welcome to the show. A lot to get to in the next 30 minutes, the majority of which deals with our recent trip across the country for yet another American Farm Bureau convention, and what a time it was for Georgia's finest. Coming up, some are calling her a rising star within Georgia Farm Bureau. Having just completed her one-year term as chair of the Women's Committee, Julie Hardy adds yet another incredible title to her resume, this one on the national level. Also, she is the last person you want to debate with because, let me tell you, Kylie Sizemore knows her stuff. But the Young Farmers and Ranchers discussion meet isn't really a debate, just good conversation and ideas for the future. We'll let you know how she fared. Plus, there's a lot more that goes into our convention coverage than what you see on camera. I'll explain and share a few industry secrets. These stories and so much more on this special edition of the Farm Monitor. At the start of every new year, American agriculture comes together with one goal in mind: to take stock of where it's been and chart a course for where it's headed. This year, that conversation brought thousands of farmers, ranchers, and industry leaders to Southern California. From the main stage to the trade show floor, the message was clear: leadership, unity, and a shared vision for the future. From coast to coast in every county in between, American agriculture gathering under one roof. Thousands filling the Anaheim Convention Center just steps away from the palm trees, sunshine, and the unmistakable backdrop of Southern California.
We are the largest ag state in the country, which really surprises people. I think a lot of people think about Disneyland and Hollywood and all of that, and the beaches and everything in California. And we do have people farming right close to the beach, so all of those go hand in hand. But we have over 400 different crops in this state. We're the #1 producer of about 77 different crops, and we grow a pretty significant portion of the country's fresh fruits, nuts, and vegetables.
But while the setting may have felt like a destination vacation, the conversations inside were anything but. After all, this is the American Farm Bureau Convention, where policy meets purpose and the direction of U.S. agriculture begins to take shape for the year ahead.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Anaheim, California.
At the center of it all, AFBF President Zippy Duvall, marking a milestone, year 10 leading the nation's largest general farm organization. A decade defined by challenge, change, and consistency, and a message rooted in the same foundation farmers have relied on for generations: resilience.
Now, you might be feeling faint some days, but you are not alone. You are surrounded by a Farm Bureau family who believes in you and loves you. Can you imagine what we can achieve together? Can you imagine a better time to start than today? We stand ready to work with you and to achieve great things for our communities and for our country.
And here in Anaheim, it's hard to ignore the contrast. Just beyond these walls, the spectacle, the entertainment, the escape, a fantasy land, if you will. But inside the convention center, the focus far more grounded. And no, it's not fantasy. It's about food, farms, and the people tasked with feeding the world. That responsibility echoed throughout the convention from both local and national leaders who addressed the realities facing agriculture today: markets, costs, policies, and production.
Well, if I were king, I would start with lower input costs. Fertilizer's too high. All the equipment we buy costs too much. All of our crop protection, seed, chemicals, it all costs too much, and I don't know how we can fix it. These prices have got to come back down because, you know, good food comes from good farmers, and right now our farmers are suffering.
Right now we're having to concentrate on yield. To get our yield where it needs to be, that's our focus, but so much is dependent on Mother Nature, and some of that yield's not in our hands. But, yield's where we got to focus right now to get through this.
We will determine whether any anti-competitive behavior, especially by foreign-controlled companies, increases the cost of living for Americans, increases your cost of doing business, and we will address those because they are a threat to our food supply and to our national security.
The message from Secretary Rollins, a reminder that agriculture isn't just an industry. It's infrastructure, essential, strategic, and deeply tied to the nation's economic future.
People all across the world can grow food, but do we really want to be dependent on other countries growing our food, or do we want to grow our food in the United States and feed our own people? So the choice is actually this: either we take care of our farmers or we decide to outsource all of our farming. We've outsourced a lot of other things that we could do without. We cannot do without farming.
From the general sessions to a trade show floor buzzing with innovation and a California skyline reflecting the diversity of American agriculture, the message from Anaheim was clear. Farmers aren't standing still. They're moving forward together. Without a doubt, one of the bigger stories to come out of Anaheim was Julie Hardy of Thomas County stepping onto the national stage. After wrapping up a year as chair of the Georgia Farm Bureau Women's Leadership Committee, Julie was elected to serve on the American Farm Bureau Women's Leadership Committee following a nomination from her dear friend and fellow GFB Women's Committee member, Alicia Berry. Julie will serve a 2-year term and represent the Southern region. It's a big moment and a historic one, marking the first time Georgia has had a woman serve on this committee since the 1980s.
I'm just really excited, and I'm so grateful. Whenever I was giving my speech and I look out in that room and I saw so many Georgia faces there who support me, it meant so much to me, and I'm just so grateful to be part of this organization that is so much like a family, and they love you and support you, and I'm just overwhelmed and so excited. I can't wait.
I know Julie's history and I know her passion. I know what she wanted to do from a very young age and wasn't able to accomplish that, but here she is letting us know that she is about to do it now. So I'm so excited for her. I know she's going to represent Georgia to the fullest extent and give 100%.
Meantime, behind the bustling exhibits and networking events of American Farm Bureau's annual convention lies the business session, where critical decisions are made for the future of agriculture. In a one-on-one conversation with Georgia Farm Bureau President Tom McCall, Kenny Burgamy gets an inside look at what happens behind those closed doors.
One of the things you always stress to us as staff is that this morning is really the most important part of coming to these conventions. It's fun and there's a lot of things to see and do, but this is the most important part.
Well, this morning here is the most important. It's why we're here. And it's just like our convention. The policy development process is why we are here. And the input we get from everybody, we brag about being a grassroots organization, and everything we talking about this morning came from various states and counties all across the United States. And, Georgia may not agree with another state somewhere on some particular issue, but we've gone over some of the policies, and if they'll agree to take something out or add something in, then we'll agree on everything, and it's everybody in this room is wanting to do what they can to take care of agriculture and the producers across the country.
Agriculture is facing so many stresses right now. Input costs,
right.
We still have immigration on the table, there's water wars, all of that is going on. How do we break through? What do we do to make changes, significant changes for the producers?
And that's the question everybody's talking about. Everybody from Brooke Rollins yesterday all the way down to us have been trying to figure out, input costs are a headache and they are a restraining issue. But if we could figure out how to get commodity prices up, then input costs would not be as bad. None of us want to depend on the federal government for payments. We want prices to be where we can make it. But one good thing about the administration and the Congress is that they realize that food is a national security issue, as big almost as military. And they are going to have to do something to help the food producers in this country stay in business, because nobody wants food from Argentina or Brazil or China or anywhere else. We have to grow it here. And we have just got to figure out how to do it and keep people in business. I know a lot of these people I've talked to, they either are cutting way back, or some of them say it's just cheaper for me not to grow anything this year because of the prices, the commodity prices. They fuss about input costs being high, but the biggest issue is commodity prices.
Mr. McCall, thank you so much for your time this morning. I know you're busy, you got a good session to get to here, but we appreciate you taking time to be with us today.
Thank y'all for what you do. And you know it ain't mister. That's right.
Yeah, he prefers plain old Tom, but to us employees, it's a respect thing, Mr. President. Still to come, Georgia young farmers put their skills to the test on the national level, and not to be biased, but suffice it to say, they knocked it out of the park. But first, it's one crew, dozens of outlets, and a whole lot of coordination. See for yourself how convention coverage really comes together. Well, if you've ever watched our coverage from the American Farm Bureau Convention and thought, how do they get all of this? The honest answer is we don't do it alone. You see, here at the Monitor, we're a small team, and at convention, it's often just two of us trying to be everywhere at once, which, as you can imagine, is impossible. That's where Mike Marks and his broadcast team at American Farm Bureau come in. As Director of Broadcast and Multimedia Operations, Mike and his team are constantly capturing and sharing video, helping fill in the gaps, and making sure the full story of convention gets told. All right, Mike, so if I've said this once, I've said it 1,000 times. Thank you very much. You guys are pretty much our lifeline at these conventions. Talk about what goes into planning and really putting this all together from the video crew standpoint.
Yeah, our job starts, pretty much as soon as convention ends, we start thinking about the next one. We think about what worked, what didn't, and how to improve it. But for my team, what we start to do is reach out to people like you and see what we did well, what we provided that you needed, and maybe where in the coming convention we can assist a little bit more. So we start getting ready, we try to keep the crew the same so that everybody gets to know each other, we work well together, and they know folks like you, and you know them, and you can approach them for anything. And we strive to make sure that when you're here at convention, you can focus on your job and you don't have to worry about being in 10 places at once. That's our job, to go out and make sure that we cover the presser, we cover the general session, we get shots of your state presidents, in important meetings and walking around, so that as you're writing your story later in the day, you can reach out to us and say, hey, do you have a shot of this specific event that I wasn't able to attend? And we can get that to you so everybody's able to enjoy the convention, done what they need to do, and not always be worried about being in 100 places at once.
And I think what's really cool too is a lot of us, we didn't start in agriculture in the video or the broadcasting business. We all come from like local TV or networks or things like that. So would you say that like ag media is a special niche?
Oh my gosh, yeah, definitely. It's been the biggest eye-opener for me, honestly, because I started in local news, I did some national news, I did some sports, and I had a lot of great colleagues over the years, but it's nothing like this, where there's people from all over the country that when they get here remember me. And and a lot of times in those fast-paced news environments, you'll see a guy a few times a year and you'll go, I don't remember his name. I know he's good at audio, but I don't remember who he is. But here people come up, they say, hey Mike, I say, hey Ray, we remember each other, we check in on each other throughout the year. And it just makes it so much more fun to work these events, because everybody appreciates the hard work you're doing and you appreciate the hard work they're doing. We all are kind of like on the same team, even though we work at a ton of different outlets.
And we do appreciate everything you do, and you mentioned what do we do good? You do everything good. But man, I can't thank you enough, Mike. Seriously, you guys do a great job. And like I said, you guys are our lifeline here, and I'm already looking forward to Charlotte next year.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, and I can't wait for Charlotte and beyond.
Yeah, always a good time with Mike and the guys. And while the AFBF video team was capturing all the fanfare, the action behind closed doors didn't disappoint either. Once again, Georgia Farm Bureau's young farmers and ranchers took center stage, blending leadership development with a little friendly competition. Damon Jones has that story.
While the sight of glass buildings and palm trees might not scream agriculture, the city of Anaheim did get a taste of rural America when it recently played host to the 107th American Farm Bureau Convention. And one of the highlights each and every year is the Young Farmers and Ranchers events, which provide a one-of-a-kind opportunity for those in attendance to meet and share ideas with their peers from around the country.
What changes everything. You know, issues that I have at home, somebody else may have that same issue, and he may have a solution that I've never even considered a possibility. So it's always, you know, just listening to how people solve problems and try to navigate the difficulties that we all face in agriculture is always just something I've always been interested in that since I've been doing this anyway. So I've always enjoyed having that opportunity to kind of just bounce stuff off of everybody that's here from across the country.
It's absolutely incredible. You may be experiencing some struggles at home, trying to figure out why you even do this because it's hard, it's stressful, and then you come to an event like this that is full of people who are experiencing some of the same struggles that you are, and you get to talk and you get to network, and it just completely refills your spirit.
While this conference does provide a very unique opportunity for young farmers from all around the country to come together and share ideas, there's also a healthy amount of competition, as these future agricultural leaders study all year long to shine in YF&R spotlight events.
It's a pretty good amount of work. I try to get some ideas for every question and then facts to support those ideas, and then I try to memorize it so that I'm prepared for the discussion. So it does take a lot of work. Of course I want to win. I already feel so grateful to be here, to be on a trip in Anaheim, California, which is very far away from my hometown in Carnesville, Georgia. But I would love to win, but I'm also just happy to be here and happy to meet people.
Hours and hours and hours of work went into this. So it's an application process first, which is not completed overnight. It's very extensive. It's completed, and then you begin to create your presentation. So we spent hours of creating the presentation, making sure the pictures were correct, making sure there were not too many words and that the pictures were clear, and all the fine details were nailed out, and then hours and hours of practicing the presentation.
Despite not taking home the top prize, each of these competitors found the experience well worth their effort, as it opened a dialogue about some of the many issues they are likely to face in the coming years. It's that kind of collaboration that will be essential in the future in order to keep the industry running strong.
I think it truly shapes individuals and allows them to know how to talk to people in agriculture, whether it's public policy or local farmers. It really just does prepare us for outside discussion. It's exciting to get other perspectives from other individuals that have a different take on some of these hot button topics. It's something that I anticipate all year.
That's agriculture, man. We're all trying to put together a very complicated puzzle. So being involved to this level kind of allows you different ways to get some different puzzle pieces that you might not have thought you needed, but it fits and it works.
Reporting from the AFBF convention in Anaheim, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
Well, that puts a big old bow on our coverage from Anaheim. Up next, a trip to Savannah for an inside look at Georgia's thriving fruit and vegetable industry, where staying ahead in this ever-evolving field is key.
Congratulations to Dr. Alfredo Martinez Espinoza, winner of the 2025 D.W. Brooks Award for Excellence in International Agricultural and Environmental Sciences. From a small town in northern Mexico to the global stage of agricultural science, Dr. Martinez Espinoza has dedicated his career to building bridges through research and outreach. Since joining UGA in 2002, his work in plant pathology has helped manage turfgrass and grain diseases here in Georgia and across the world. Through international collaborations spanning Latin America, Europe, and beyond, Dr. Martinez Espinoza has brought sustainable, high-yield crop solutions to farmers worldwide. His bilingual publications and technical workshops ensure knowledge reaches everyone, everywhere. With numerous honors recognizing his impact, Dr. Martinez Espinoza exemplifies excellence in international agricultural and environmental sciences.
Finally this week, it's a well-known fact that Georgia's fruit and vegetable producers are always looking for ways to improve their operations. As John Holcomb shows us, there's one event every year where they can do just that and make some new contacts in the process.
Fruit and vegetable growers from all over the Southeast recently made their way to the annual Southeast Regional Fruit and Vegetable Conference, an event that's meant to equip producers within the industry with all the tools and knowledge that they need to see success back on their operations and remain sustainable for years to come.
This year we've had a big focus on technology and precision ag and how we can bring the technology to our growers to make them more efficient. So I've been thrilled to work with the University of Georgia and Grand Farm on our new project, Innovation Row. The fact that this event comes right at January every year allows us to bring in experts from around the country. We've got 14 different commodity conferences going on at the same time with leading researchers and leading experts, again, from all over the Southeast and around the country. And it's information that growers can take back and put into action on their farm this spring. So the impact is real, and the information that they can take back allows them to improve their bottom lines.
Improving their bottom lines, however, is only possible when they know what their bottom lines are, which, now that a nearly 30% increase in wages for guest workers has been reeled back, this season might be easier to navigate.
Our work isn't done on that front. At any point, those rules can be undone. So we're looking to hopefully solidify and codify some of the positive changes that have happened to the program by working with Congress and showing them that there are ways that we can shore up the program and make it sustainable for growers in the future.
According to Butts, the work is far from over, but keeping the issue in front of lawmakers is crucial to protect the guest worker programs and operations across the state and country.
I think the future is bright because we have seen some positive changes, and we've seen the willingness of Congress and others, those decision makers, to listen to our needs and to make those changes to the program so that it can be sustainable. At GFEGA, we're working with a coalition of 38 organizations, including Georgia Farm Bureau, to try to keep that issue front and center for Congress. We'll be back in Washington, D.C. in February because in our mind, it is the most important issue because it has the most immediate impact on the financial well-being of our farms.
However, another pressing issue affecting producers' bottom lines are imports that flood U.S. markets and drive down the price they're getting for their crops.
We have an import problem in specialty crops in the Southeast and other parts of the country, Northwest, some in the Midwest, and there are a number of imports from Mexico that are coming in and pushing down U.S. prices. It can be a seasonal import during our marketing window, but also there are commodities that have the same problem year-round. So this is an increasing problem, 550% in specialty crop area of import increases since 2001.
However, this summer, the USMCA trade deal is up for a review, which according to Redding is a great but rare opportunity for change.
These windows of opportunity come along very seldom. They are not frequent. And this USMCA review is a unique review process, and we're hopeful that a problem that's been going on for a number of years can get addressed.
Reporting in Savannah for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
Thank you, John, and thank you for watching this special edition of the Farm Monitor. For everyone here at the show, I'm Ray DeLessio saying take care, stay safe. We leave you with one final look back at AFBF Convention 2026.